Today's scripture is John 19:25-27. And that is what the soldiers did. Meanwhile, standing near the cross of Jesus were his mother's sister Mary, the wife of Clopas, and Mary Magdalene. When Jesus saw his mother and the disciple whom he loved standing beside her, he said to his mother, "Woman, here is your son." Then he said to the disciples, "Here is your mother." And from that hour, the disciple took her into his own home.
Thank you so much, Dawn. I shared a little bit of this story a few weeks ago. When I was on vacation 3 weeks ago, it was to go to Connecticut to see my mom and dad for the first time in 9 months due to the COVID travel restrictions, plus the fact that my mom and dad had COVID themselves back in January, along with a lot of my other family members there in Connecticut. It was such an amazing visit. I mean, I had periods of a couple of months at a time where I didn't get to see my mom and dad in person. They live in Western Connecticut. We live in Plymouth. But this is the longest I have ever gone in my life without having seen my mother in person. And even though we had the blessings of the telephone and video chatting and social media, it wasn't the same. One of the things that I thought about while on the way to visit my parents was, I came really close to losing them back in January. I'm thinking about it on this Mother's Day. I could have lost my mom this year. I am so lucky and so blessed that I still was able to go see my mom a few weeks ago. And even though I'm not going to get to see her today, I'm going to get to talk to her on video chat this afternoon. And it was a real vivid reminder to me that this is a bittersweet holiday of Mother's Day, because there are a lot of people, including my mom and my mother-in-law, whose moms aren't present with us in this world anymore. And how precious of an experience that I had a few weeks ago. Keeping that in mind, I'm not taking Mother's Day for granted this year. So in that spirit, I want to look at our scripture lesson this morning and about the bittersweet flavor that this holiday can really have. Our scripture lesson from John's Gospel, it's a sad one. It's part of the crucifixion narrative about Jesus' death. But it's the only one of the Gospels that really, I think, pays attention and gives due respect to the relationship of Mary, his mother, and Jesus. They're both going through agonizing experiences. Jesus is going through the death of crucifixion and all that was involved with that. But Mary is losing her child. A bitter pain that I cannot imagine. And it makes me want to hold in my heart the moms out there that have gone through that incredibly painful loss. So there's a real bitterness, but also there's the power and the amazing love of Mary's devotion to her son. So much so that she was there with him when he died. She was there with him during the most bitter, painful, agonizing, horrific experience of his life. And I can only imagine the comfort that had to be to him during that time. I think of the comfort my mom gave me when I was sick growing up. The ear infections, the strep throats, the stomach aches. Staying at my parents' house when I had mono back in 2002, probably the sickest I'd ever been around my parents. Even as a grown-up in my 20s at that time, my mom still being here to help me. But even in that horrible time, Jesus' devotion to his mom comes forward. He saw to it that she wasn't going to be alone after he was gone. She saw to it that she was watched over and taken care of, because in his time, Mary was a widow at this point. Joseph had very extremely likely had died sometime before that, sometime between when Jesus was 12 and 30. And it was the duty of the eldest son to take care of the mom after the dad husband had passed away. But now he wasn't going to be there anymore either. So he creates a family through adoption. The beloved disciple, identified as John the Evangelist, John the author of our scripture lesson, he adopts Mary and John into a new family. Mary adopts John as her son, and John adopts Mary as his mother. Now, Mary did have other children, and John had a family and a home, and had or still had parents. But there was now another mom. Mary now had another son, which in no way took away from the relationship that they had with their other parents and children. But Mary would have John the Evangelist as her son for the rest of her life. So there was the sweetness of a new child and a new mom in the creation of a new family. And later in John's life, Mary's own passing, he would end up, we know, outliving all other Jesus' disciples and women personally, including his mom. So much bitterness and sorrow, yet so much intertwined with love and devotion. And ultimately the joy of a new family relationship, of a new parent-child relationship being born out of that. Such is his life, the beautiful, sorrowful mixture that makes life as we still experience it in our world today. The joy of the mother-child relationship, the sorrow of the mom-child relationship, the often complicated relationship that can exist between parent and child, mom and child, for any number of reasons. What do we do with all of that? As is often the case, I think Jesus gives us a metaphorical example through the experience that he has with his mother and John the Evangelist and his crucifixion. First thing we can do is honor the moms in our life. And when I say the moms, it could be our birth mom, it could be the mom by adoption, it could be the mom that was the foster parent, it could be the mom by choice, the aunt, the sister, the teacher, the guidance counselor, the scout leader, the neighbor, the grandparent, the friend. Who's the positive mother figure in her life? The one who nurtured us in the mom, continues to give us the compassion, the guidance, and the unconditional love of the mom. This is the day to honor those that are currently in our lives, and to remember those for whom we had that relationship that may no longer be present, may have passed away. Or maybe they're separated by distance or by circumstances. So, for situations where there's the positive or was the positive mom relationship, this is a day of celebration. Make the most of it in whatever circumstances we can. But for the situations where there wasn't the happy mom relationship, where maybe the mom figure was entirely absent, or there was abuse, or neglect, or the mom who gave the act of love of giving a child up for adoption. Those are painful, difficult situations, but what do we do with those? We can instead maybe seek to honor the moms that we see around us that are doing the positive mom thing, or be the positive mom ourselves, or support the mom out there that might be struggling. Know a single mom out there? I mean, I've been in this position, and it's an unfair one, and it's one I'm trying to work on personally. It's so easy to honor the single dads as doing something remarkable, but we seem to forget the single moms that are doing remarkable work 99 times out of 100, that don't get the recognition and the support. There seems to be, sadly, a bias in our society where it's expected from the females to be in that role, but that role is such incredibly hard work. How can we support a single parent? And that we know. Maybe giving them an hour of free time there and there to do something for themselves, or advice, or just, you're awesome. You're a great mom. What a beautiful way to honor a mom on Mother's Day. Even if they're not in the mom role for us, show respect to a person being a mom. Talk about taking a bitter or sorrowful or conflicted or a complicated situation and doing something that becomes a blessing. Because being a mom is far more than genes and chromosomes. It's about relationship, it's about nurture, and it's about giving love. I'm thankful that I have a mom. I'm thankful that I have a mother-in-law who's like a mom to me. It's funny, I've heard about the stereotypical dysfunctional mother-in-law son-in-law relationship, but I've never known that. I've got the best mother-in-law in the world. And both my mom and my mother-in-law, as much as this is a day of celebration for them with their children, they're both grieving the whole passing of their moms. My mom, since 2004, when my grandmother passed away, and my mother-in-law since 2019, when her mom passed away. So I lift them up today. I want to conclude by sharing a reading that my wife Christy Lynn shared on social media. This is, it's a reading, but I'm going to read it as a prayer. I typically don't read from the pulpit, but this is something that I didn't want to get it wrong, so I want to read it. And for me, this is a beautiful summary of all of the aspects of being a mom and all the different ways that it happens, that it's desired, and that it's hoped for. It beautifully summarizes the complicated, mixed up, wonderful world that often manifests around us. Mother's Day is such a complex day for many. My thoughts are with you. Who identify as mothers, who gave us life, who raised us, who have chosen not to be mothers, who are hoping to become mothers, who are preparing to become mothers, who are questioning their ability to be good mothers, who experienced loss and are hoping to become mothers, who have experienced the loss as mothers, who long to know their mothers, who have never experienced what it means to have a mother in their life, who were rejected by their mothers, who have complicated relationships with their mothers, who are missing their mothers, who are mourning the loss of their mothers, who are healing from their experiences with their mothers, whose family and mother figures were found and formed outside of sociological definitions of family, holding space in my heart and sending love to you all. However this day may manifest to you, may God bless you on this Mother's Day, both today and in the rest of the year. Thank you all for being here today. If this is a day of sorrow for you, I pray that you find healing. If this is a day of celebration for you, I pray that you find joy. If this is a bittersweet day for you, I pray that you find whatever you need to know wholeness and healing. If this is a day of service to you, I thank you for what you do for all of the moms out there. If this is a day of summer, all that put together, I pray you peace and love. May God bless us all on this day. And give us a loving, joyful, and beautiful week. Until we meet again. Amen.